Hello and welcome to the Growing Green podcast. Your host, Jeremiah Jennings, is the owner of Growing Green Landscapes in Birmingham, Alabama, and has a passion for growing the entrepreneurship community for those who are young in business. Being a business owner isn't easy, especially in the early years, and that's why in this show we dive into a wide range of topics covering all the challenges small business owners deal with. Even if your company is generating $1 million or more, the stories from our great guest and Jeremiah's own firsthand experiences will propel your business forward. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Jennings.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode today here on the Growing Green podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Jennings, and we are so excited to be coming to you today with another fresh new guest interview. And this is going to be a really fun one. This is going to be like, I guess we're going to do like a once a quarter update now. But it's none other than Luke Donley with Liberty Lawns out of California. How you doing tonight, Luke?
Hey, quarter number 3 update. Here we go.
That's right. This is going to be actually really fun. I'm excited we got to do this. We've been talking for a little bit here before we hit record, just catching up and hanging out. And I wanted to get share your story with, how you're growing, how the company's going, personal and business life, just booming right now. You got a lot going on, and I was like, let's just take 15, 20, 30 minutes, however long we get on here and get going, and just kind of share it with everybody else, because you're at a crucial point in your business where you're like starting to transition out of the field every day. You're turning more into like an owner and looking into buying new trucks. And we're going to get into a lot of it. I want you to share your story there, but I think a lot of people can learn from it. I learn from it. Every time we get on the phone, it's like, man, this dude like inspires me. So give everybody, we've had 2 episodes with you. I actually got to come out there in April, I think is when it was. So that was really cool getting to come out in California and hang out for a little bit. But it wasn't long enough. It was way too short. But it was fun getting out there. You can go back and listen to the first 2 episodes if you want to hear Luke's full story of how Liberty Lawns got started up. But give us the literal 30-second rundown of how you got started and how you're growing, and then let's get into where we're at today.
Yeah. So again, appreciate being on. It's always fun. I guess long story short, started the business about 18 months ago. We basically just went almost full time right away. Just kind of jumped straight into it. And we're now, fast forward 18 months later, we're creeping up on about 70 accounts. And we're taking leads kind of like through a fire hose. 0 to 100 real quick. Yeah, exactly. So we do, just in case anybody doesn't know, we do primarily just lawn maintenance, a little bit of landscape enhancement stuff, nothing major, but primarily the mowing route. We do residential and commercial. That's kind of a short, quick version. Yeah, for sure. First thing I wanted to hit on and talk about and maybe go into depth a little bit more is you are going through right now the process that I think could be some of the hardest times for a business owner in getting that first crew out and established and really running things on their own, trusting them to get things handled, and you don't have to be out there every day. And that's something that I was dabbling with here earlier in the year. We kind of got to that point, and then lost a foreman, so we're kind of back. We took a step back to take a big step forward next year, hopefully. But tell us a little bit about that. What has that process been like? I know the last time we talked on the phone, I think it was you were starting to trend. You were almost had a full-time route for them, but you weren't quite there. But now I think leads are coming in. You're getting to that point where you have that full-time for them to go out there. How have you handled that and being a business owner and delegating that role to them and just being a good employer and a good leader? Oh, yeah, I don't feel like I'm there yet. It's definitely eye-opening. But yeah, so last time I think I was on the podcast, we had just taken on several new accounts, and I was to the point where I was too busy to do it myself. And I needed that one extra guy. And we got that extra guy, kind of key guy, foreman. He's now my main, my only foreman, but he's crushing it. He's real good. They talk about as an owner, your best employee will do it at 90% of what you would do it at. And he is that solid 90%, like maybe even a little bit higher. He's good. So yeah, I mean, back then, I think we were at about 40, 45 accounts, somewhere in that range, and now we're kind of up to 70. And
so you've almost doubled in a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's unreal. And so, it's to the point now where I've got, two guys working. And the tough thing was that we went from, it was me like 6 days a week, like doing it, to we were getting everything done with our previous, with the two guys at like, we were getting done in 4 days, and we were getting it done in like 7-8 hours a day.
Yeah. And you're kind of like, man, we got to pack the schedule. Like we're running out of things to do. Yeah, I know that problem.
Yes, exactly. And so it's like that awkward stage where you can't do it all by yourself, but you don't really have a full time, schedule yet. And so we jumped into it and have continued to grow. And now, we're getting pretty close to that full schedule. We can go into this a little bit. I know we talked about it a little bit before, but we just had some crazy stuff happen. A property. I'm not going to go into like full detail on it, but basically, God's really good. He dropped 14 or potentially 14 properties into our lap, and didn't have to pay a dime for them. But just all I say is at least have some sort of website, because mine's not great, but it still got me these. So that's a whole really cool story. God really worked all that out. We have 12 of those confirmed. We literally started them this week. We might be adding 2 more on here by the end of the week or early next week, plus a big commercial that we just took on. So we're getting to the point now where, we run Monday through Thursday, start at 7 a.m. And so I'm trying to fill it up to have 4 10-hour days, 4 10s.
Yeah.
And, we're creeping up on that number. My goal right now is to try to get every day that we go out to have $1,000 a day. And we're hitting it on like 2 days. We're real close on the other 2 days. Just a few more accounts and, we'll be there easy. And so that's really exciting to see, that start coming in. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get real fired up here, but like, it's so cool to see how, God blesses when you work hard. You put the time in, you put the effort in, and not just me, but my guys, my family, they at times can suffer as much as anybody else can, because you're trying to build a business, you're trying to provide for your family. And so sometimes they can take a hit, but like, even, it's just been surreal that like in 18 months, God has blessed so much. And, to I guess the person out there that's just starting out, or is, maybe a half year in, and, you're kind of debating, wondering, can I do this? Trust me, you can do it. Keep going, keep working, keep grinding, because it'll happen. I honestly, not in my wildest dreams, could have believed that we're not really anywhere special. We're not even doing any crazy numbers, but like in 18 months, we've gotten to this point, and it's just so cool that like the work starts to pay off. And, if you put time into your marketing and your advertising, like it starts to pay dividends, and we're seeing that, on a daily basis, honestly. But yeah, I mean, we brought that on, and then a big commercial account that God has worked out, and it's still pending, but it's pretty highly likely that we'll get it here in hopefully the next week or so. But it's just, it's just so cool to see how things are going and moving. And, on the employee side, I was talking to a business mentor of mine, and, we were talking about employees, and he's like, when you're an entrepreneur, or when you're a business owner and it's just you, things could be sloppy. Things could be not as organized as they should be. You could deal with equipment issues that your employees would never deal with, but like you're just going so fast that you really don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to build this thing, and it's kind of almost I'm going to fly a plane and build it, on the way down type of thing. Like, we're just, going for it. And that's the way I've been. And then I brought employees into the company, and it's like, Like this is kind of I guess a stupid example, but there was one of our push mowers has a wheel on it that is just weak, and it'll bend. I didn't care. Like I just kind of I just slam it back in and keep going. My guys won't use the mower. Like they're like, man, you got to fix that thing, and like that's a really
that's a really good example though. That's a really good example.
Yeah, but it's like I didn't care. I'm just
we would have kept going with it. I'm the same way. I have a weed eater that it just takes a certain. You got to start it. You got to turn it upside down and play with it a little bit, and it'll start. And I'll use it just fine. But then it'll sit on the truck all day if I'm not there. They won't touch it. So you got to have good equipment. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like you just push through it, and then all of a sudden these employees start coming on, and it's like, okay, now I need to get organized. Like for example, I've used Jobber since the beginning of my business. But if you were to go into Jobber, it was sloppy.
Yeah.
It was, because you try to train your guys and say, hey, this is how we wanted this to be a certain way. But then like every house is slightly different, and, no two houses are the same.
Yep.
We don't do just a lot of like mow edge blow. It's a lot of extra, bush maintenance and whatnot. And so I had, the first time I sent my guys out, they did a great job, but I had like 3 callbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, well, you were supposed to do this and this didn't happen, and I'm like, okay, I didn't train. It wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
It was my fault because I didn't train them properly. And, I owned up to the client on that. So that's my fault. That's not their fault. I talked to the guys and say, hey, this is on me, but this is how it needs to be going forward. And so now I'm in Jobber, spending hours detailing in the notes and, making it very clear to the guys, this is exactly what needs to be done. This is how we're doing it, and trying to put systems in place so that they can, realistically, anybody could pick up a phone, look at the Jobber app and go, oh, this is what we need to do this week on this property.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying because I don't like to sit in front of a computer for hours and do that, but it's either that or I lose accounts or I get callbacks or, I run into constant issues, employee frustration, right? There's like, and so, here we are, kind of building the plane as we're, trying not to crash it. But it's, the guys are starting to get a feel. Plus there's kind of just this, but between you and your employees, like an understanding of the expectations, right? And you have to constantly be verbalizing that. And at first I wasn't very good at that. I just, in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're going to, you go to the property, you look at the property, what needs to be done, you do it, because that's what I did for 18 months. But now it's like, no, well, you missed, I saw that differently. And, you kind of have 3 eyes. You have the owner's eyes, you have the homeowner's eyes, you have my eyes as the business owner, and then you have the employee's eyes, and nobody sees it. It's all a different perspective, right? And so trying to get us on the same page, that's been a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. Starting to clean up things a lot, and as my foreman, as we've been having a lot of conversations and like, hey, how do you this type of bush, how do you do that one? How do you prefer it done? And just a lot of communication, and it's working itself out, and we'll get there. My employees have been great about it. The clients have been pretty good about it. There's been a few things here and there, but we've, small stuff that we've been able to smooth over, but it's just been really cool. It's a fun ride. I kind of feel like we just grabbed the bull by the horns and we're just holding on, but eventually, it'll smooth itself out. And, I'm starting to look at the more that we keep growing, I keep, and we're not underselling people in our area. We've had this conversation on previous podcasts, but like we're above average priced. So it's not like we're not, hey, $90.
Yeah, you're not cheap, guy. Yeah.
And by the way, let me just say this. I know everybody knows this. I'm sure everybody in podcast has heard this a million times, but don't be the cheap guy. Raise your prices and know your worth. a landscaper I just took over for on some property management company. I mean, corner lot, charging $90 a month. Not per visit, $90 a month for weekly maintenance.
You don't make money.
Now,
I don't understand.
You don't make any money.
Yeah, I don't
You
understand.
don't make any money. And it makes sense because that they're not making any money because they stopped showing up. I'm like, well, they probably went out of business because they're not by the time you pay, especially out here, you know, what might be a $17, $18 employee for you there or, you know, somewhere else in the country, that's $25 an hour here. So I don't know how you're spending 20 minutes on a property, you know, and for a 2-man crew, there's no way you're making any money. You're losing money. You're paying them to mow their lawn, you know? And so if you're out there and you've been debating on price, just raise them. Just know your worth. Charge appropriately.
With that, you have to do good work, though. That's the thing. If you're gonna have high prices, you have to have high work.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Anyways, so that was a little bit of a side tangent there, but I get so irritated. I get so irritated because out here we live in one of the most expensive states in the country.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's, I don't know, maybe New York rivals us or one of the New England states, but like, we're expensive.
Oh yeah, I remember gas was $6 a gallon or whatever it was when I came to see y'all. I was like, my goodness,
it's crazy. It's crazy. And you know, it just baffles me that that's normal here, those prices.
Yeah.
And I will go to quote somebody, and they're like, you know, well, that's double what I paid the last guy. And I'm like, okay, you know, okay, but the last guy wasn't showing up. He wasn't doing quality work. Your lawn's brown because he hasn't looked into the sprinklers in, you know, I don't know how many months, you know. But I mean, that's a whole side tangent. We could spend a whole hour-long podcast on that. But the last thing I'll say about the last 18 months, I guess in kind of this just overview of what's been happening. And for some reason, I struggled to share this for a while because I didn't want to sound like, sounded proud saying this. But I'm really excited about it. We were just voted best of the best in our city here, Roseville, for 2022. And for some reason, I don't know, I struggled, like, almost felt proud, like, telling people that. And then my wife's like, no, you put so much work into this. You should be proud.
Yeah,
you know, you should be excited
about
it.
It's a reward for your effort.
And so that was something we didn't advertise. We didn't ask people to go, you know, vote for us. They actually surprised me with it. They called me. It's through the town newspaper, the city newspaper. They called me and said, hey, you were voted best of the best. And I'm like, who voted for, you know, I didn't even know, like, I'm like, who, like, I didn't even know this was a thing, you know? And so it was just, you know, really humbling, really cool. It just goes, I think, a testament to the work ethic of everyone involved. And, you know, just doing quality work. So really cool. It's been an awesome few months, especially the last like 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Things are really hopping. And it's getting us, you know, each step is getting us one step closer, I guess, to my ultimate goal, which is, you know, just to be able to take care of my family and do it in a way where the physical work doesn't always need to be done. You know, we talked about my wife's health issues and things. And so having that freedom, can't tell you how many days where it's been a relief on like a Monday when I don't have to work. My guys go out and do the work and my wife's not feeling well and I can stay home and take care of her.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do that. I mean, in the last several years.
Yeah.
You know, and so just to be able to do that, and we still made money.
Yeah.
You know, my business, my company made money, and yet I was able to do what is probably my most important, you know, responsibility in taking care of my wife. And just cool. You know, it's just cool that we're at this point. We haven't hit there yet. You know, we're still growing. We're still doing our best to improve every single day. But it's just been an awesome, really cool last couple months.
Yeah, man. No, I love it. This is what I wanted. I wanted a little update here and just kind of talking about how things are going, and because I think it can be a big inspiration to a lot of other people out there that are in that stage, that startup stage of growing. And you were saying earlier, it's like you grind for 15, 18 months, and then it finally starts to pay off. You finally get to that point where it's like, wow, I'm finally seeing the rewards of your labor. I want to backtrack a little bit, though. So take us back to, 3 months ago, where you got your foreman in here, you started that crew out going on themselves. We touched on this, but we blew past it, and I want to come back to it. It's a scary thing, and I went through this at the beginning of the year of like having two guys or out by themselves, but like not having enough work really. Like you hire that second guy, but you're like, I need the second guy to grow, but at the same time I don't really have enough work for him. So like you're spending a lot of money in labor. You're not necessarily bringing it in income yet. How did you navigate those waters? Float through those waters as in the last 2 months. You're like now you got to the point where you've worked that schedule full. But back in the beginning, you're kind of hemorrhaging some money. I'm sure at some points, like you were like, okay, what do we do here?
Yeah. So the money would come in. I'd pay my guys, and then I look at what's left and go, oh shoot, I don't know how I'm going to do this,
Yep.
And I knew that was going to come. I talked to a few other people that said, if you want to grow, this is something you're just going to have to deal with, and you're going to have to work around it. The way that we kind of have made it the last couple of months is through like landscape enhancements and extra jobs that we've sold. So mulch jobs, random cleanups,
where you can make some serious quick profit on that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So where we could go out and make, $1,000 or $1,500 or $1,700, whatever it was in that day.
Yeah. And
net, a pretty decent amount off of that, and then that kind of helped us stay afloat. And I would just get, like I said, I'm out of the route 2 days a week, 2 of the 4 days that we work. So I would just load those days up as much as I could with that type of work, and I'd do it myself, or I'd bring on my brother-in-law or something. I'd say, hey, come out and help me out, that type of thing. And we'd do the work, we'd get it done. It looked great, still providing that quality work, but like that has got us over the hump in the last couple of months. That's really the only way we've made it, because it was, there's times where you're like, I got this bill coming. There was an example of this, it was like a month and a half ago, and my wife was like, hey, we have these bills coming up, but like the bank account, it's not there. And hey everybody, this is Tyson, my son.
Oh, he's coming to check in.
He's here to say hi.
Oh, you're good. Take care of him.
I can do it. Caleb always says, all right, Tyson, say hi. Oh, he's gonna go.
He's supposed to be in bed, isn't he?
He's supposed to be. Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, take care of it, bud. This is good stuff, man. It's real life. It is. I love it. I love this type of stuff, man. Family life. Luke right there taking care of his kid, and it's just we're gonna be there soon. It's gonna be something that I can't wait for. It's a lot of good stuff happening.
Before you know it, you're gonna be here before you know it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so my wife's like, hey, going back to that story, we've got these bills coming in. We just paid the guys. We don't really have much. What? She'd be like, "What's your plan?" And I'm like,
"Yeah,
well, I'm gonna go sell some work." And I remember there was one particular day this happened. I said, I've got, kind of some dry stuff in the pipeline. Let me kick it around and see what I can get. And I came back, and God's good, man. We prayed about it, and I just said, God, you got to make this happen, because we need, I got these bills to pay, and I got to make sure this happens. And we're trying to grow. You've been blessing, but we need this.
Yeah.
And came back that evening, and I said, hey, came in. My wife was outside with the kids. I think I said, "Hey, come here." And I told her, and I showed her my phone, and I had sold like $2,200 worth of work.
Mm.
And I said, God's got it.
Yeah,
we're gonna be fine. And and so
those are the most rewarding times in business. Those times like that,
cool.
like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. We're both on small scales when it comes to business. Like we don't have huge businesses. We're just working, making good income for our families. But and there's guys listening to the show make way more money than I make, like way more money than I make. But it's just fun to remember and realize like in these beginning stages, and that's what we target is like guys out there in the young in business stage, and we're both still working through those stages. You're even in it younger than I am, and you're crushing it. You're way further ahead than I was at that point in my business, 18 months in my business. So times like that just make you realize like it's a lot of work, it's a lot of effort, there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but it pays off in the end.
Oh yeah, totally. It's just cool to see, 'cause especially like you talk about the blood, sweat, and tears. There's so many times where, there was a moment, a few months back where I honestly, I just wanted to quit.
Really?
I don't even want to keep going. I said I can't handle this, and I was trying to juggle a lot of different things, and I just said, I said I'm tired of working, all day, 6 days a week. And I feel like I'm not getting anywhere, but if you don't quit, you keep pushing, eventually you get to the point where, God drops something on your plate, and then he drops another little thing, and then next thing you know, you're like, here we are growing at such a rapid rate. And,
we're definitely going to get a Q4 update, like 100%. We're already 3 into this, so we're going to have to get another one like around Christmas or something.
Might as well.
But what is, and we might can look back on this in 3 or 4 months from now, but what is something you would change or look back on and say, man, I wish I did this different. Maybe we could be a little bit further ahead 3 months ago. Like what would you think? How could you have improved?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing was I had a part-time employee before I brought on my foreman, and that part-time employee was he was in school, helping me like 1-2 days a week, and I made the mistake of taking on both of them full-time at pretty much the same time, and I didn't need to. I think I could have saved myself a little bit of income, and then not
That's good.
Paying so much out in payroll.
And I've struggled with that at the same time. But you're saying you could have gone out there with the new guy or the part-time guy, and just worked a little bit harder for a couple more weeks.
Yes.
And built that route.
Yes, because we were doing. I could have stayed a little bit longer in it. Maybe kept the other guy part-time, and then worked part-time in the field instead of like right now. We've had which has actually been killing us, but I'm trying to get out of this, is we've had a 3-man crew 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense, right? 2-man crew is the way to go. It's the most efficient. Most efficient
on
all
small
the way around.
Stuff. It depends on size of your yards, but yeah.
True. For anything that we do here, even my biggest lawns don't really need 3 people. It's not.
Do you have anything that's
necessary.
an acre?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, is it that big one with the big house up on the hill?
Yeah, house on the hill with the pond.
Yeah, how long does it take you to mow that? Don't you, isn't your biggest mower a 36-inch?
It's 36 inch. So we are there we just did it today. We're there for 50 minutes.
Oh, that's actually not that bad.
So
that's pretty
it's
fast.
Not bad.
When you post something on Instagram, I'm like, my goodness, how long does it take me to mow that?
Sometimes I feel like it takes forever.
Yeah.
I'm out there, I look at the previous stripe and I'm like,
you're like, oh, we've got
like
500 more of these.
I got 1,000 more of these stripes to get through this. But one of the biggest reasons I haven't stepped out of the route completely to go into more enhancement stuff is Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the primary days that we use our stand-up mower, and neither of my guys are fully trained on that yet.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to work them into that. We don't use sanders a lot here, especially for residential stuff. It's not
Do y'all bag?
Super common.
Do you bag a lot on your residentials?
Yeah. Well, anything that we don't use our standard for, yeah, we bag.
So what do you do with those clippings?
Pretty much everybody has a green waste bin, like a garbage
so
can.
You throw them in theirs.
Yeah, so they it all goes with them.
Cool.
Yeah, so we don't have to deal with any of that. Very rarely. I think I have like maybe 3 houses that are kind of, a little bit farther out into not country, but it's a smaller city that we work in, and they don't really have green waste bins. But on those ones, I'm mulching with the sander, so we don't really have that big of an issue with it.
I was just curious.
Yeah. So that's kind of that's one of the bottlenecks with the whole training and transferring process is getting them comfortable with that, because, where you're at, or maybe in the Midwest, kids grow up on those things,
No, man, I agree. That's what I don't think people think of enough is like, it's so much harder to train people. And so, and I'm not saying like, oh, look at me, my job is harder than yours, but take what you're going through and having to train somebody on a 36-inch stand-on and turn it into a 60-inch, 1,500-pound mower that they're driving up and down hills, and like it's a totally different training process. It's so hard, so much harder to get out of the field when you're in that stage of like training and stuff. It's hard to find the right guy. You got to find somebody that's trustworthy and reliable. But I think that's all the more reason to get your training processes down. It's something that we're going to work on. Honestly, I'm debating creating some video courses for us in house of like training and stuff to have for the future, and be like, look, take these and watch them and just study them and learn how to go up and down a hill and things like that, because man, it can be life or death. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, totally. No, I think that's a great idea. The video training, I think, is good. I've even thought about like trying to put a playlist together on YouTube of guys that, we all see on YouTube or on Instagram, and just like, hey, here's 10 videos that you need to watch. Even if it's as simple as like trimming, edging, like, just, hey, this is a 5-minute video, but it's 5 minutes less that I have to try to teach. And if they can see it, understand it, and then they can implement it, and then I can critique, and say, hey, let's not do that, or let's try this instead, That's a good point. But yeah, man, it's, employees, I think they say you're never really fully ready for it, but like, I definitely wasn't fully ready for it. Just the whole, it was a learning curve. I had to really, and I still am. I feel like I'm still on that learning curve. But it's been good. And I think we were talking about that one thing that I would change. I think I would have not jumped on,
I agree.
Okay, let's put 2 full guys in. I should have.
100%.
Yeah, I should have done, one and kept the other guy part-time, and slowly worked it in.
Yep.
But hindsight's 2020, and we're really getting so full now that I can't.
Yeah,
I can't switch it now.
I mean, you look back, say maybe I would have done it different, but you never know. You might not be where you are now if you would have done that. Like you might have gotten stuck in the thing of like, and it's something I have to deal with all the time, and I have to tell myself is like, you have to let it go. It's just grass. Like we talk about how hard it is to train somebody. It is, but it isn't. Like you just got to let them trust them, let them figure it out on their own, and like they can do it. They're big boys. They can do it too. So,
right.
Maybe you just jump straight in and you kind of surpass that stage of trying to not delegate. That's something that it's hard. Delegating is a hard thing to do for me, at least. I'm one of those people like I want to be in control of everything. So I don't even like when I'm on trips. I don't like riding with people. I drive. I'm in the driver's seat the whole time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I have a lot of those same tendencies. There are certain things I can pass over pretty easily and delegate pretty easily. One of those things has been like I struggle with is the back end side of things. I don't want to pass it over. Like my wife, I think we talked about this. This was our first episode. But my wife wants to be more involved, and it's not that I don't trust her. I mean, I'm married to her, but like it's just like letting go of like the quoting or the billing or whatever. And I'm like,
it's your baby. It's your baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, so hard to pass over, but yet, we literally just had a conversation tonight about it. And I'm like, hey, I need to be better about this. And so let me do what I can to get you on board, because she wants to help in that area and she wants to be a part of that. So, it's a fun time for sure.
Yeah, man, that's good stuff. Q3 update with Liberty Lawns. If you were waiting on it, then here it is. Q4 will be coming in probably near the holidays. But no, man, Luke, it's been awesome catching up tonight, buddy. It's always good talking, hanging out, especially recording a podcast like this. It's just want to keep putting out good content, and I know you've been on a couple times, but like, guys, if you get tired of it, go somewhere else. I don't care. Go listen to another one. But this is good stuff to me. This is good stuff. I learn from these conversations. I think when I listen into other people's conversations like this, I learn a lot. And so hopefully it's been of some value to all you out there. But you can find Luke on Instagram at Liberty Lawns. Like I said, we'll put his link in the show notes today there. And go follow him and check out all the stuff he's doing over there. But Luke, thanks again for coming on tonight, man. It's been an honor, and really appreciate your time. But I want to be respectful and let you go. It's getting late. Got to make sure those kids are actually in the bed. So
it's later for you. You're 2 hours ahead of me.
Yeah, we are coming up on midnight here. But we do a lot of late night stuff here, son, and it'll probably only continue to get later. Like man. Jack is 4 weeks away, I think, before he's born. I'll probably end up doing podcasts at 2 a.m. or something, like while he's awake or in the middle of the night or something. So you never know what's going to happen. But this is real life stuff. We're growing. We're learning together, having a good time while we're doing it. Thanks, everybody, for listening in. If you did enjoy the show, go give us a rating and review there, 5 stars. Those really help boost us out there so we can continue to grow the community one relationship at a time. But without any further ado, that's going to be it for this one, and we'll catch up with everybody here on the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in to the Growing Green podcast. It is an honor to have you listening, and we hope you receive valuable advice to help take your business to the next level. Don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll be notified when our next episode drops.